Once upon a time, the Catholic Church put all of its teachings into one big, long book called the Catechism. Want to know what's in it? Awesome. That Catechism guy is here to explain it all. You're welcome.
I'm recording whenever you're ready.
All right.
I was hoping to get something a little better.
Catechism. So, Catechism guy.
Okay, wait, start again because you were and went into it.
That Catechism guy coming at you again with another hot topic of drugs and alcohol. As much as I hate for my youth ministry to focus on drugs and alcohol and that's like a main thing of kids, you shouldn't drink, cut it out, and beating this into their heads over and over and over again. It is important in teens' lives right now. And you got vaping thrown in there as well. Vaping, which is just, I don't know. The Juul thing is weird for me. Like the little pod things that look like a USB. Like it's just very, very strange for me. But this is an important aspect of people's lives. So let's taco about it. 2290. The virtue of temperance disposes us to avoid every kind of excess. The abuse of food, alcohol, tobacco, or medicine. So that's going to be the big thing that the church is going to focus on with all of this stuff, from vaping to alcohol to whatever. Food. Have you ever confessed the sin of gluttony? Because it's kind of fun too. Especially, so one time I confessed it to a priest who was a pretty big guy, and I was like, Father, I've been overeating, and he kind of chuckled. It happens. But abuse of food is equally important with all of these things. The importance of moderation. So, that's not to say, kids, go, drink up. Absolutely. No, absolutely not. Not what I'm trying to get across. Because we do have an obligation to follow the laws of our country. Unless they are taking us into mortal sin. Which you can certainly make plenty of arguments for why can a kid become a soldier and get drafted and go shoot people at the age of 18, but they're not old enough to handle a beer. Hey, reasonable argument. But I think you're going to have a tough time convincing anyone that by not drinking, the government is forcing you into some sort of mortal sin. So we have an obligation to respect the laws of our country. So as long as you are in the United States, then yes, you are expected to not drink until you turn 21. Now, hey, you go on a little field trip over to Ireland or Europe or South America or wherever, sure, just so long as you're not doing this in excess. And the same thing is going to hold true for tobacco or for nicotine, all this stuff. We're expected to obey the laws of our country. Once you turn 18, hey, sure, okay, but again, within moderation. And as someone who used to chew, who used to smoke, who used to do electronic cigarettes, all of these things, it is real tough to do that stuff in moderation. And it's a dangerous game that is probably best not to get into in the first place. 2291, the use of drugs inflicts very grave damage on human health and life. Their use, except on strictly therapeutic grounds, is a grave offense. Again, that is church lingo, right? So you've got the three aspects of mortal sin: free will, full knowledge, and grave matter. So they're highlighting here the use of drugs as a grave offense. Where things are going to get tricky is is tobacco a drug? Is it? Nicotine? Is that a drug? Is alcohol a drug? Yeah, all of these things are drugs, and they're talking about moderation. So what's the line, right? What's the difference between marijuana versus alcohol? Thing that I'll always highlight to my teens is that's going to be the big debate that you all are going to have to help settle. Now you've got marijuana legal in Colorado, #spring break. But are you allowed, if you're 18 and you go to Colorado, can you... Is that the noise that happens? I don't think that was the right noise. I don't know. But are you allowed to do this? That's one of the big debates for us to figure out as a church. Can you smoke weed in moderation without trying to, right? Because there's a difference, right? So alcohol, some people talk about alcohol and say, well, as long as you don't feel the effects, it's okay. My rector always used to crack up at that at seminary, saying like, well, that's ridiculous. Of course you're supposed to feel the effects. Why else would you bother doing it? So there's this idea, okay, you drink a little bit to relax and feel good. All right, so can the same be true of weed? I don't know. That's going to be a topic for us to talk about as a church. There you go. Thank you so much for listening.